chat for my man, Residente. Welcome.
What's up, man? Thank you.
What's going on? No, you got it, man. How you doing? All right today?
I'm great. I'm happy to release this video, and I'm happy to talk to you guys. So yeah, it's great.
Amazing. So before we get started, I just want to talk, mi gente. It's very important that I explain that our discussion tonight will take place in English, and it's very intentional. The concept behind This Is Not America is to bring unity amongst all of our people. And tonight we would like for the message to reach as many people in the US particularly, all right? It's something that Residente hasn't done often, and that's why we'll be speaking in English tonight. So I hope y'all understand, but for all our Spanish-speaking people, please click the closed caption option on Twitch, and you can activate the captions. Para la gente que solo habla español, por favor, poner los closed captions in Twitch para ver los captions. Cool? And to everyone in the chat, please drop your questions because we'll have a session at the end.
Sí, y le quiero decir a la gente que, para que sepan lo que le explico, que es importante de hacer esto en inglés porque ya nosotros sabemos que somos parte de América. Los que no saben que son parte de América son ellos, así que hay que explicárselo en inglés para que lo entiendan. Yeah. Okay.
No.
That's only Spanish, but I just wanted them to understand that why we're talking in English.
It's super important, but you know, it's going to be a dope conversation. First of all, congratulations on the single release and the video release today. We're like in the moment. I know everybody is feeling the excitement. I kind of want to go back because, you know, look, we see Lakeith in the studio. We know a record takes a long time to record, to conceptualize a video, to the time that you get to present it to the people. It could be several months. It could be more than that. But I want to go back to the moment that you were inspired to write This Is Not America. Can you describe that moment to us, the moment you were inspired to write?
Man, I got inspired little by little every time that I came to the US and someone told me, oh, because here in America, or we Americans are, and I'm like, okay, I get it. But it was kind of weird, you know, because for me, America is the whole continent. And it's like saying like that Morocco is Africa, you know, it's kind of weird and kind of egocentric in a way, but I understand that it's maybe education or other stuff. I don't know. And for me, I started to write, as I told you already, like little by little, the song till I got it. And I said, hey, I'm gonna put it out because it's important, you know, at least for me to say it and to try to change that, you know, in a good way, you know.
Mm-hmm. So more about opening up the discussion, the dialogue, and maybe the understanding of what America is, because historically it's looked at with a narrow view.
Yeah, I think it's another way of colonization. You know, it's after all of the things that we've done and passed through, not only Latin America, but also Canada is America. And, you know, it's hard to that, as I said in the song, like even Tupac that I admire a lot, his name comes from Tupac Amaru from Peru. So it's kind of weird that at the end of the day, we feel like left out, you know, and we shouldn't feel that way, you know, like the calendar, as I tell in the song, it's you use the Maya calendar, you know, to count the days, like you have a lot of Latinos here, also people from different parts of America, and yeah, it's kind of unfair too, and you should feel weird also by saying it, you know, from now on. Like it's like, okay, maybe, yeah, we are, but maybe we have to bring a solution, like a word to describe Americans, you know, like, because in Spanish we have it, estadounidense. We have the short word that I'm not going to say because it's to be disrespectful for some people, right. But it has a nice story, you know, the word gringo comes from gringo, the soldiers get out, you know, so green, the color green, go, so that's how you get gringo. But you can be USAtians, I don't know, like with a nice cool name, I don't know, we have to find out.
Right. No, it's an interesting discussion. Lakeith, I want to throw it to you, maybe just your reaction when you saw This Is Not America for the first time, and the imagery. So much of your art is intentional, you know, like from your music. Again, you're in the studio now. We had a conversation off camera about that, the intentionality in your art. As an actor in your visual art, so much of the roles that you have played and the art that you presented to the world really deals with the complicated history of America, particularly for African Americans. But this concept of America just not being the United States and really including the Caribbean, South America, Central America, Mexico, Canada. What do you kind of think about that? Have you ever even pondered that before this video, or that as a concept?
Yeah. Well, first of all, when I saw the video, I was happy to see that music is being used to communicate with people from all different kinds of backgrounds. I think that's important. Music is the place to do that. It is the portal through which we can move and have things be understood. To me, the most powerful vehicle to communicate messages to large groups of people. In terms of labels, even African American itself, to me, is a strange way to describe me or anybody else I know who's Black in America, because it doesn't make sense. And neither does a lot of the titles that we use to describe things, quite frankly. It's kind of weird because the way that America was established and the way that a lot of countries and places are established is often overlooked and then glossed over. And then we use what we want to say and do as what we want to say and do. I, growing up Black in America, have, quite often not even felt fully American because of the politics and the laws. And so I don't associate myself with a lot of these nationalistic terms. Part of what my music talks about is developing an identity for yourself that's based on merit of character. Who you are, what you do, the decisions you make are far more important. You can find a lineage of where you came from, and that's cool. And I know where I came from, and it's not actually in America. But since I was born here, that's what they call me, but it's like a lot of things are outside of the control of what we have. We just born here and playing somebody else's game. So I say, I ask people to dig within themselves and find a sense of self before pledging allegiance to land masses that you really didn't help establish in your own respects. Now, with that being said, there's a whole nother game of politics and military and things of that nature that I don't know nothing about. I'm not in that world. So what I hope to reflect is how more of us are connected through things that are more tangible than the way that we're separated by simple titles and names, land masses, geographical lines, and imaginary things that are drawn in the sand and saying, okay, this is our part, that's your part. I think it's very interesting what he's saying about America. I actually hadn't really thought about that much. A lot of when we refer to America, we're talking about the USA, and we don't mention South America often, or even Canada for the most part, as the Americas, the landmass. And I think that's a nice thing to point out, because it makes people pay attention to the words we're using and how we're using them. And you got to pay attention, because, for instance, they'll have you think Egypt ain't African. They'll have you think a whole bunch of crazy stuff if you don't sit down and dissect the words and figure out exactly what it is they're trying to say. So I think it's an important conversation to have, and I'm really glad that he's having it and being bold and making that statement.
That's dope. Let's see that, Lakeith here with us. What is it? I think all three of us, right? And me moderating this discussion. What did you ultimately want to get out of tonight and Lakeith's perspective? And because already we're sharing perspectives, right? And new ideas are being sparked. What was it that you hope to accomplish tonight by having Lakeith here talking with us?
No, for me, well, first of all, I'm a fan of his work, and I saw a few of his movies, like Judas and the Black Messiah. It's amazing. Actually, in that movie, you can see the Black Panthers getting united with the Young Lords, and I'm Puerto Rican, and it's important that our communities get united. We are minorities with a lot of power, and we should get united to make changes, When the movement Black Lives Matter started, we were doing a lot of stuff in Puerto Rico too, in Latin America. And when we have something we also would like to have that support, you know. For example, this word, like we want to be included, and the way we should be included is not being excluded. And because we are being excluded every time that you refer to US as America. And it's a little detail, but it works in your psychology, you know. It's like kind of like a psychological thing that you have since you're born. So this is America, like only this, you know about the map, right? That they changed the size of the map, and the US looks bigger than it should be. Things like that. It's kind of like, and I'm Puerto Rican. We are a colony of the US. Like, we don't have a president, but our president is Biden, but you know, we can't vote for the president. So I understand what I'm saying. It's like little by little. That's why on the video, the first thing that you have is Lolita Lebron shooting. She shot to give a message on the 50s about Puerto Rico being a colony in the Congress in the US. And it was a big deal. She got like 30 years in prison with other two guys. Cancel Miranda was one of them too. And, you know, for me, it's important to give this information to people, because it's a thing of being informed rather than not being nice, you know? Like as soon as people understand, they say, bro, like this is wrong, you know? And let's change it, or let's do something about it. It's more about the government or the establishment being in a way that we both groups, like minorities and everyone, should support, you know, these kind of movements, you know. So that's why I did the whole song, you know. That was my idea, to start the conversation and to try to change the definition of the word, to bring a solution. Actually, I'm meeting with African Americans and Latinos from different universities with linguistics, to try to find a word to change the thing. I don't want to leave it in the song, you know, like make a song and that's it. I really want to bring a solution. And it's not a huge problem. There's a lot of bigger problems than this. You know, we have a war about to start, you know, well, already started, but maybe it's going to get even bigger, maybe. And we don't want that, but this is another thing that that we can solve, and it's not that difficult to solve, you know.
It's funny, Residente, that you sparked a thought in my mind just now. And being Puerto Rican, I'm also Puerto Rican, right? And when you talk about Puerto Ricans and African Americans and Blacks kind of coming together, you know, for a commonality, for a cause, supporting the Black Lives Matter movement, or supporting, you know, one thing that I wonder, and I always question with us Latinos, is recognizing the Blackness within our culture and our own families. For example, my complexion may show you something different. My mom is Puerto Rican, whole family from the island. My mother is Black. You know what I'm saying? My grandmother is Black. I come from Black women. You know, I may present differently, but our families in Puerto Rico and Dominican Republic and Cuba, all over Latin America, you can have every shade of the rainbow in one family: mother, brother, father, son. How do we as Latinos, because I think that unification is important, but I also think it kind of starts at home, and too, in recognizing our own history, our own culture, and the Blackness within ourselves as well.
Yeah, like I think that, like me as Puerto Rican, I can distinguish easily. Like I'm white, I'm a white Latino, and I have a privilege over, even if I don't want it, I have it over Black Latino, you know. And that education, because we grew up with family. Also, we have like in my family, I have Blacks, like my cousin, like everyone. It's kind of like mixed, but some, like, we have privilege over certain people because of the color of the skin. The thing is that when you get to the US, it gets kind of confusing, because then you have the xenophobic aspect that, like, Like one time I went to my apartment and they didn't let me in because I was speaking Spanish, and they told me, no, you don't own an apartment here. I said, yeah, bro, I own an apartment here in New York, and the super had to come down to talk to the guy and to the guard, and it's not because of the color of the skin, it's because I'm from another country, or I don't know. So I think because of that situation, like all of us should be united in everything that we do. Like if we have if we're gonna march, we should march together and not divided and all together. And that's what I wanted to do, and that's why I invited. Like if also I'm a fan, I'm gonna say it. He's gonna get tired of hearing it. But I really like his work, and so yeah, that's why I wanted to do the song, and that's why I think it's important for all of the Latinos to understand how also the U.S. works, in the sense that, I don't know, for some reason they divide, and they have like Black music, Latino music, and they start dividing instead of like, and if they divide, we have to unite, Mm-hmm. That's the idea.
Let's, if we can, let's play a clip. We don't have sound, but I want to just show, first of all, go watch, if you haven't watched the video, as soon as we're done here, please watch the video. It's a powerful piece, but I want to show a piece of the imagery, because the imagery in the video is really powerful. The different people that we see coming together, from indigenous culture and women. I love the way that women are framed in this video, because often during revolution, women have historically been on the front lines, and we don't always see that in media. And I thought this video, whether intentional or not, did an amazing job. The scene with all the women pulling their masks off, and from the first scene with the gunshot, I thought it did an amazing job of also showing how important women are to our struggle and our movement and our revolution and our growth and our progress. So if we can, I would love to play. Go ahead.
No, the heart of the revolution in Puerto Rico is women.
Yeah.
Like it was like 5-10 women, all of them. That's why I put Lolita Lebron. She's one of them. And you have Blanca Canales. Like it's very unique, how everything happened there in the 50s.
Yeah. Let's show a clip. We're going to show a clip. Let's roll. There we go. I mean, very cinematic, Renee. Yeah. Like, what were you trying to accomplish? What did you want to show the children, indigenous? Like, it looks very, very authentic. The scene where we see the Statue of Liberty replaced by an indigenous imagery. What was it that you were trying to show us? We know what you were trying to tell us vocally in the record. What were you trying to show us?
Yeah, first of all, like I most of the time, like actually all the time, I direct my videos, and this is the video that I didn't direct, but it was made with Gregory or Harold. It's a great director. He's a friend of mine too, and we have a great communication. So I explained to him what I wanted to do also, and he had different ideas. That for me, they were great. I just gave him the history knowledge and the historical knowledge, so he can do it well, because it's I'm from Latin America. I understand it. Like he didn't know who was Lolita Lebron, so I had to explain to him. Yeah, I think like when we were talking, we wanted to explain everything in a very visual way that has metaphors, like one image can tell you like 3 different things, and without being literal, like this is this, and no, like every image represents like different things. Like when you have the football player with the trophy and the gun, in Brazil, where, they were trying to take people out of the streets and from the favelas because they were going to do the World Cup there. And they were like doing crazy shit over there, like things like that, like we just said, with one image, you know, the Statue of Liberty being a Native American, it's very powerful, you know, like every image that you have in the video. I don't know if you can watch it, but I don't see it, but yeah.
Yeah, they took the clip down. Okay. You know, we were just able to play a little bit of it. Here we go.
Yeah.
Clips.
Yeah, you have the tango there dancing, and it's kind of like connected with the police abuse, you know, like how they hit you, like they hit the same as hard as everywhere. Like when the police hit you, they hit you the same in the US, the same in Latin America. You know, it's crazy. And like not so too long ago, they were like protesting in Cali, in Colombia, and in Colombia, in the whole Colombia, but in Cali, they had like the biggest crowd. It went crazy, man, like how police brutality happened, you know? And I'm just showing all of that. In Venezuela also, you have like a similar situation. In Chile, they were taking out the eyes of people, taking out eyes. Like the guy that they shot in one scene, it's Victor Jara. He's a musician from Chile that he was, because he kept performing. They were saying like, oh, he's a communist, and so they killed him because they just wanted to kill him, and they really killed him because he just kept performing, you know. And you have to have guts, you know, after they tell you have to stop performing, and you keep performing, and you die because you believe in your message. And that's why I put Victor Jara there. You have the president of Brazil, that it's an idiot, you know, eating and cleaning
wiping his mouth with the flag.
With the flag, you know, like he almost burned the whole Amazons, you know, like he... You know, like so it, and it's important to tell this story also because we passed through the Operation Condor also, that killed like 500,000 Latin Americans, and it was created by Kissinger, you know. Henry Kissinger is a friend of Hillary Clinton, so it's kind of, it's bad, and these people, this guy is still alive. I can't believe it. This guy is not in jail, he's free, and he managed to do all these killings, you know. Rios Montt in Guatemala with Ronald Reagan, you know, they killed 200,000 indigenous people in Guatemala. That's fucking crazy, and nobody knows about it, nobody cares about it. And after that, you also take the fucking name. You have to have fucking guts, you know. It's kind of like, what the fuck? So that's why the video is there. I'm sorry about the bad words. Yeah,
no.
Bad words here.
You know, look, there's nothing worse than what's being done to indigenous cultures, to just people, and poor people across the world, right? You know, that's why I think the imagery is so important. It kind of reminded me of another video when we get these moments, and Lakeith, I would love for you to jump in here. You have a line in here, Camino mi hermano, esto sí es America. You know what I'm saying? Childish Gambino, Donald Glover had a song, This is America, with another very powerful image, right? And really showing America and showing society the injustice that is done to our people right in front of our face, you know, through his art. And this video is powerful like that, and hopefully, you know, continues to spark conversation like that video did. Lakeith, I know you just worked with Donald. I know you don't speak for him, but do you remember seeing that This is America video the first time, and just what your reaction was to that visual and that image?
Yeah, I remember seeing it for the first time, and yeah, I felt similarly to how I feel after having seen this video, which is that I'm happy that things are being discussed that are typically swept up under the rug. And the best way to do that is to do it through art and metaphor, because literal people sometimes can't handle. And through art, we can sometimes have things implied that are stronger than what's literally being stated. He had a comment earlier about colorism that, you know, I think is a big issue. And, you know, it all stems from a fundamental misunderstanding of what humans are, human beings, which are, you know, people don't realize that even with just in the African diaspora and the Black diaspora, there are people genetically that are more different Black than you are white. So this idea that like white and Black is something so separate is completely outdated, or that people that are darker than or lighter that means something different. It means nothing. It means nothing significant. Now, if we want to celebrate where we come from, that's great. But I think you also you have to pay attention to the historical implications behind what you celebrate. When you celebrate that American, it's okay to celebrate being American. And it's okay to celebrate being from the US in particular, if that's what you want to celebrate. But I think you got to balance it out and talk about the history too, and talk about how things became what they are in all different places. And the problem is the history is not being taught. And so people start doing the same thing over and over and over again. If, we had that debate about, certain schools trying to take out, some of the history that happened with America, you can't sweep that up under the rug. You got to face it for what it is and face your demons. We all got parts of us that aren't perfect. It doesn't mean the whole country's bad. It doesn't mean all of everything is bad. It just means we got to check ourselves and do better and be better. Now, how do we make things better? I don't think we can rely all the time on governments to do that for us. I think what we got to do is make incremental individual changes within ourselves to see the change take place. If you think it's some racist stuff, check yourself and be like, man, no, that's stupid. You know what I mean? You can have a thought, it's okay, but don't hang on to it because it ain't right and it ain't true. Be honest with yourself and grow yourself, and then we grow each other. If you woke, and I hate to use that word because they hijacked it and turned it into something else. But if you woke and you got your antennas up, then I'm going to have my antennas up. And then everybody else going to start. It's contagious when we begin to love and spread love in that way. And I feel like that's the message. The overall message is just spreading love. When we see ourselves as equals, not above, not below, equal, then we can really give and love. But as long as I think I'm better than you, or you think you better than me, it's never going to be a conversation to be had. And it all stems from what was instituted in white supremacy and kind of ingrained into us through that program. It's ubiquitous throughout the globe. So it's in Latinos, it's in Africans, it's in white, it's everywhere you go. The darker you are, the more negative it is. That's a problem. And it's because we don't see ourselves as the same. And that's a huge issue. We're more similar than we are different. And people need to understand that. And I think we'll be in a better place. But I really think in order to make changes, first of all, we got to have conversations, which is why I love things like this. So don't censor people that are talking about real stuff. Don't tell people you can't talk about it. Because when you say that, y'all need to be careful when they say don't talk about it. Because when they say don't talk about it, that's what they don't want you to talk about. You need to have discussions, even if we disagree. Even if on a COVID argument, somebody vaxxed, somebody not, have a conversation. Don't tell nobody they can't talk. It's important. And then once you have a conversation, individuals create change within yourself. Start in your family, start local. Then when y'all grow, then the whole village grows, then the whole city grows, then the whole world grows. 110% Blacks and Mexicans and Latinos, all of us need to be unified and together. We come from the same place. I'm from Riverside. I was born in San Bernardino. I grew up around all Mexicans. I love Mexicans and them. But there's always this weird bridge that you can kind of see started out of the prisons, where prisons are very racist. But prisons are racist because that's an imprisoned mind state. If you free, why are you out here racist? You see what I'm saying? It don't make sense. So we need to bridge those gaps and understand that we are much more like each other than we thought we weren't. It don't matter if you mix with white, mix with black, because black people got white in them too, damn near most of the ones in America. So it's we just need to find more of the similarities. And I love this conversation because I'm passionate about us coming together for a common good. And sometimes it's recognized in the art. So, some of the negative things we went through, are able to have a light shown on them through our art. Like Gambino, he's Black. We Black, we in America, so we know what it's like. And the police is tripping, and as he said before, they hit you the same way no matter where you at. So these are universal issues that we can all talk about and come together and learn. And then when we come together, we can hold them accountable and make you say the right shit. Stop calling me African American because I'm not. I'm an American that's Black. You know what I'm saying? Stop putting all these labels on things to try to make it less than what it is. And when we're talking about the U.S., us as American citizens can do our part to be inclusive of the whole landmass. Remember that America's a whole. Same thing with Africa. Stop calling everything in Africa African. It has many countries in there. Give the respect to the proper
cultures,
place. Everything needs to be respected. And I'm gonna stop talking, but yeah, I agree.
That was amazing. That's inspiring. I hope, everybody in the chat, I really believe in what Lakeith is saying. It starts with a conversation, and technically, I guess it's a conversation between the three of us right now, and we'll have chat. We'll take questions later, but it starts with y'all families. It starts with y'all friends. It does start on the very communal, local level, and that's how you aspire real change. That's how the Panthers did it out of Oakland, and it spreads, and the young lords in New York, we grew up like Residente said, inspired by that, looking at that, learning about that. Some of us seeing that in our own communities. So it starts on a communal level. I appreciate that.
And that was a beautiful thing. Just real quick, I like that you mentioned the young lords, with the Panthers. I thought that was a really beautiful part. And it was important that it was in the movie because it shows the part they don't know about the Black Panthers. It's like, these ain't, the way they want to make it seem like we gangs and stuff, like, nah, y'all got to know where gangs come from. That comes from community organization, us coming together, us protecting our community, and we were all on one note. And what happens is people like the governments, the secret little, thing, they get in, they infiltrate, and then they create disarray. So they'll tell you, oh, he said something over here. Oh, he said your mama look like this. Oh, he said fuck off, or I'm sorry for cousin, but he said, we don't like Black people. Or he said we don't like Spanish or whatever. So then everybody get to fight, but you got to focus and realize like, it's always going to be bigger than the little insignificant things they're trying to get us to argue about. As you mentioned before, divide and conquer is real. So don't be divided and we won't be conquered as easy.
Yeah.
Cool. Renee, any reaction to what Lakeith said?
No, I think the same way. I think that's why I wanted him to talk. Maybe I'm a little bit, ¿cómo se dice? Cuando predice, like what's the word? Like I felt, when you watch movies and you feel that the person. So I thought that he was gonna be like this and talking like this. So that's why I'm happy that he's here talking about this, and I think the same way. So I'm happy. I don't know if I add something else, I fucked it up.
No, that's amazing. One other thing I want to get, because, and Lakeith is in the studio now working on his album. Just the creativity, right? I love, learning about things in music that maybe haven't been done before, right? When it feels like everything under the sun has been done already. Can you explain, Renee, they recorded your brainwaves and the sound of your brainwaves and sampled it in the song? Like Lakeith, have you ever heard?
That's amazing. I love that. That's great.
Can you explain this to us?
Yeah, no, it wasn't my brain. It was worms, we have.
Okay.
So it was, but we did it like I was working on my album that it's not done yet. I finished my album like before the pandemic, and I put some like one song out, and then the pandemic hit, and then I stopped the album, and now I'm working on new songs. But the idea when I did the album was that I wanted to talk about everything that I had in my head. So because of that, I started to study my brain. And then I said, why I don't start studying other people's brains? And then why I don't study animal brains? So I went to Yale University and with some scientists, and I started to study the brains of flies and worms and other animals and insects. And with that, with the brain waves, they were able to quantify and to make it into numbers. The waves are like electrical shocks. So I went to the worms. These worms have like 302 neurons, right? And with only that, they can distinguish in between cold and hot, and they can reproduce and they can move around. They can do a lot. Like your finger has like thousands of neurons, and if you cut it, nothing is going to happen. It's going to stay there. But these worms with very little neurons, they can do a lot. So I wanted to use that as a concept. Like in Latin America, with little, we do a lot. And you know about that. Like we create, if we don't have it, we create it. Like I remember one of the best skaters here, street skaters, Chico Brenes, you know, he used to make a skateboard out of like a wood and 4 wheels, you know, like we make shit happen. So because of that, I use the brainwaves of worms. So those numbers, I assign every number to a key of the piano. So with a software. So I did that, and then I got like, and then with that, I was listening to the brainwaves of the worms. So I selected part of that, and with that I created the melodies of the song. The like what the Ibeji is singing is the brainwaves of the worms. So that's how I got. And I always get into trouble because I do a lot for one song, and you know, and the label is like, they like it, you know, but it takes time, you know, it's not, but I have more fun making music like that, because otherwise it's too, I don't want to say it's too easy, but you know, I wanted to make it more complicated, you know, so I did it.
That's amazing. I got one question for you. Do the worms get publishing? Is the worms getting?
That's a good thing. They don't have publishing because I don't know, you know, this is crazy, man. Like when I went there, they PETA, that they protest, you know, when something bad happens to animals.
Yes.
But they don't protest with worms, and they have a brain, right, and they think, and I think that they should also do that with worms. Like I was feeling bad, like the worms, I was asking, so what's going to happen with them? Oh no, we just put it on the trash. And I was like, what? And they're living things, you know, but they're so, like, you have to look into a microscope, you know, and they don't give a shit about worms. It's kind of like they don't give a shit about Latin Americans. It's kind of like the same. We put it on the trash, you know, and it's, yeah, that's why it's connected. And also I use bomba drums. Bomba drums, like we have in Puerto Rico, we are very connected with the African content, specifically Benin in Africa, West Africa. You have Benin, and we have kind of like the clave, like the tempo rhythm from salsa is very similar. From salsa music is very similar from the tempo rhythm in Benin. So we use like cajones de bomba, where like 4 drums, and that's why it's like boom, 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 and it feels big. So I wanted to include that on the track, and with the worms, and then Ibeji's voice, like they're Cubans, but they live in Paris, and they sing in French and in Spanish and in English. They're very talented, and I was so happy to work with them, and they did the voices for the track, so it was great, you know.
That sounds amazing. It sounds revolutionary. Lakeith, you're in the studio working on your new album. Can you tell us a little bit about what you're in there creating, what your aim and your goal is with this next piece of work that you're going to present to us, hopefully soon?
Thank you very much. Well, a lot of people don't know that I started off homeless before I got into acting, and you know, I kind of, you know, started to build my way up, and I saw a lot of things on the way, lost homies, lost people. Some of my friends, like, you know, they didn't really want me to come to LA because they felt like it was Hollywood, some fake ass shit, and like, you need to stay real, stay with us. And I feel like I was doing something that people didn't like my homies didn't understand. So I had to do it. And you know, I lost some people, and I feel, you know, sometimes you feel bad about it in the beginning because you ain't really synthesized it right, and thinking like, I could have helped, I could have saved them, I could have made it better. And so I talk about some of them harder times, and how when I became an actor, I started getting resources, started getting money, started getting acquisitions, started being noticed. And when you're young and you don't really know how to process all that, sometimes you lose control. And even though I thought I was in control, I lost control. And I started spiraling out, doing all kind of things that I wasn't supposed to be doing, getting involved with people I wasn't supposed to get involved with. It was just like a Hollywood movie story. Like, I never thought my life would be like that. There's so many things in my life I never thought. I never thought I'd be on TV. Never thought I'd be in a movie. Never thought I'd be like living the lifestyle of a actor in showbiz who has friends that he don't even know, and a bunch of girls, and like, you know, making bad decisions. And never thought I almost died. And that's what happened. I ended up in the hospital, almost died. And so this album is starting from, in the beginning, literally, I'm talking about my first audition. It's basically like music mixed with the audio television show. It's kind of hard to explain, but it's like an audio show. It puts you exactly where I was at. So you hear me at where I'm telling you I'm at, and then at the end you hear me in the hospital. Like, you hear everything. So basically it's just like marrying two ideas that I love, storytelling, also in the music. And then it's a series of tracks that talk about a lot of lessons I had to learn. You know, some of them is with women and decisions that I made that were bad. And some of them is just like, you know, just straight lyricism and bars. Some of them are about homies I lost. So it's just it's coming from a real place, and it's called Self-Control. And then my second album gonna be called Self-Love. I made that whole album sober because I've been sober for like, you know, going on 9 months now. So I made that whole album. Thank you.
Hold on, I don't even want to gloss over that. That's amazing. Congratulations to you on your sobriety and your clarity. Continue. I didn't mean to interrupt, but I didn't want to gloss over that because I know that
because like while we talking about community, it takes community for people to get through stuff like addiction. It's real, and it took a whole bunch of people to help me get over the hump. So I always want to like shout out to everybody that's going through it and your family that's been through it. You can get through it because I made it. I cut cold turkey. You feel me? It's been 8 months, and the album I made called Self-Love is how I'm feeling now. Now I can spread love because I got it. When I didn't have it before, when I was hurting myself, you know, drinking, thinking that it's all love, thinking it's all good, thinking that I got people around me who care. Now I know what the difference is. And so I want to spread that love now that I got it. So yeah, that's basically what I'm working on.
That's amazing, man. We can't wait to hear it. I want to take some questions from the chat, man. The chat's been buzzing. If you got questions, definitely drop them in the chat. You fellas mind if we just do like a lightning round of some questions from the people?
Yeah. Let's do it.
Cool.
Also, if you want a Spanish writer or something, a rapper, you just let me know, man. I do it.
Hell yeah. Hey, I'm gonna really hit you too.
Do it for free.
Hell yeah, bro. Good looking, man.
That's dope.
Hey, how do you say self-control in Spanish?
Self-control.
Yeah.
En Spanish, autocontrol. Sí. Autocontrol. Sí.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, man.
Amazing. All right, so we're gonna go to the fans for a bit. First question, Residente, would you ever run for office?
Nah. No, I prefer to help people outside the government. You know, like I don't want to be part of it. I think I'm creative, and I'm also ADHD. You know, like I have attention deficit disorder, like super high, like high fucking level. So I don't think that I will be a nice one. You know, I will be like.
I tell you what, I don't doubt. Listen, and I know a lot of people suffer from ADHD.
Yeah,
I'm sure some of these politicians that we have now.
Yeah, well, maybe it will be better. Maybe but I don't want that. I prefer to help people out from outside and to make it happen. Sometimes you help more. You know, I have seen it myself. Like when the hurricane hit Puerto Rico. The government didn't do anything, and I was helping with other people, like the people, not only me, a lot of people helping more than the same government. And sometimes they have so many rules and shit, and it's better without rules. And I don't know. Yeah, never. I don't want to be in office. No.
Real. Nah, I respect it. Lakeith, I got one for you. I think it's the number one question. People have been itching. It has been a couple years. We've been waiting. Patiently, some of us impatiently. They want to know in the chat, what's up with Atlanta season 3 next week? What do we expect?
It's gonna be black as hell. You know, Atlanta is gonna be black. It's gonna be exciting. It's a unique perspective, and now it's like Paperboy, damn, I can't say too much about it, but like Paperboy took off. So now he's like, you know, doing big things. We in Europe, we on tour. It's where the last season left off, and it just gets more surreal. You know, it's interesting that we having this conversation about like where we are geographically on the map and how that influences, you know, what we think and how we act. Atlanta is a perfect metaphor for the awkwardness and strangeness of separation, because really it's about being black in America. And what that means is being separated from a normal status of human. You feel me? And the reason that status is able to take place is because people got the game fucked up on the fundamental side. They don't realize we all the same shit. So therein lies the issue. Because there's a separation, then here we go with all the bullshit we got to deal with, going through the airport, weird situations and stuff. But anyways, doing things like this show, by the way, too, is helping bridge that gap, because you can see through the characters that we play how we just like you, and that's what we hope to communicate with this show, and then also show other people can also talk about where they from. Atlanta's really specific, but you can talk about where you from too, and come out with a show, and it'll be amazing, and like people will gravitate toward it if it's written in a real way, and so that's all we do. But I can't wait for people to see it, because it's probably going, man, y'all expectations gonna be blown. Like, it's crazy.
That's amazing. Can't wait to see it. Congratulations, and you know, just can't wait to see it, man. I'm gonna be following you closely on socials to figure out the reaction week to week, and you know the people love talking to you.
Yeah, thank you.
Week to week. Residente, they want to know. This is a 2-part question. How many songs on your next album?
Okay.
When does it come out?
Yeah, I have. I don't know, man. I don't know how many songs. Like I'm not the type of person that makes like 20 songs and then I'm gonna leave out like 5, and I decide like every song I treat it as a song, and you don't leave your son out of, you know, like you keep helping your son till he grows up and go to college or whatever, you know. So every song that I'm working, I even if I don't like it, I keep working on it till I finish it and it's great and I feel it, you know. So I don't have a number, man, right now, but I don't like to do too many songs either. Like I don't like to do like 20 songs. It's not like, so I always like in between 13. I always say that when you do like more than 20, it's kind of like you're insecure or something, you know, and you have to do a lot and to maintain the people happy. And it's like, no, I like when you have like 10 songs and they're like amazing, you know. These days people do a lot. Maybe I do like 13.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I feel like my favorite albums are between like 10 to 15 max. Like the greatest albums to me are the ones that when they finish, you want to start over again from the top.
Yeah, if it's too long, it's like, oh, you have to, takes time to get it. And I don't know, like I like to be also precise with what I want to say. And it's going to come out this year, I hope. You know, I'm writing, I mean, like I always did hip hop, but in a different way, rap in a different, like I'm a rapper. And I like lyrics.
Oh, we know. We know it shows, brother.
Yeah.
It shows.
Yeah. I know that 2 weeks ago something happened, and yeah.
Listen, I didn't want to bring it up, but the chat, I'll ask you. There's a lot of questions about it, but I asked you one. If you don't mind.
It's okay. I don't mind, brother.
Somebody said, in the spirit of unity.
Yeah.
This is a big deal right here, Lakeith. I'm telling you. In the spirit of unity and coming together, would you ever be willing to sit down with J Balvin and figure out a collaboration at some point?
No. I don't collaborate with people because of that. I collaborate with people not only it's an energetic thing, but also I have to respect the person. And if you don't write lyrics, why I'm gonna respect you, you know, like as a rapper. I can respect you as a human being. And of course I can sit down with him and he's human, I'm human, we can talk. But that doesn't mean that, oh yeah, now we're gonna do a collab. Actually, he asked me for a collaboration back before, like for his album. And I told him, I don't know you, man. You know, I have to meet you. People today, they collaborate with people because they're known and they have numbers, and it's like that's irrelevant to me. It's like, are you saying something? Are you connected with what I want to say? That's what it's important for me. So I don't think a song it's going to happen, but to sit down with him, of course, and to talk to him, yeah, of course. I would love that, actually. to sit down and talk. Yeah.
Let's see, man, because you guys are shaking up the world right now. Everybody is buzzing about it. But thank you, and I know the chat thanks you for answering that question, man. That's the hot topic right here, Lakeith, man. I got a question for you, Lakeith. Somebody said, and it's dope, and even just talking to you here, and obviously being a fan of you, but talking to you here, like, somebody asked this question, it says, do you feel misunderstood in Hollywood? And the reason they're asking because you think and function on a deeper level. You know, I think a lot of times when what, and I don't want to speak for the chat, but when we think about Hollywood, that it feels very superficial. It feels like, you know, the same thing you said when you were moving over there, which your people were afraid of. And you seem like the antithesis of that. Do you feel misunderstood in Hollywood, or what do you feel like your place is in Hollywood?
I think a lot of people have preconceived notions about what it means to be in Hollywood and to be successful as an entertainer. It comes with a lot of loaded stuff, but it's really a unique experience that you kind of really only know if you're going through it. And like me, I've been through both sides. Like I was completely on the bottom, and then, you know, I kind of been rising up slowly but surely. So I know, you know, all the little ins and outs. And what I found is that it ain't no different than anything else. There's people in the business who want to get things done, and they'll do it at any cost and try to rise to the top. And there's people who got integrity. And it's a few people who got integrity and a lot of people who ain't got no integrity or self-respect. So it's like early on in the game, you got to figure out which one you're going to be, because there's going to be a lot of, you know, money coming in your direction and opportunities to do something that might go against what you believe. But if you stand on what you believe, you good, you solid. I stand on what I believe. So really other people's opinions about me, it's just, that's for them. It's in their head. You see what I'm saying? So like, I never really been beholden to that. Do I feel like they understand me? I mean, honestly, I'm a constantly evolving and growing individual. So, you know, I'm constantly experiencing and learning new things and changing. And the way that I express that through my art is that my art is expressed in a multitude of facets and ways. So if you ever understand me, I ain't doing my job right. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, my job is to continue to keep the needle moving as I explore and learn. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I'm not here to be understood. I'm just here to share. You know, I siphon the real shit through me, and that's how it comes out. You know, so I ain't really concerned about being understood. In fact, if I'm understood, that might be an indication that I'm doing something wrong. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm already gone from all of this convention. That's what got me here to begin with. I wasn't thinking like everybody else. You know, I thought for some reason I could go to LA, live in my car, and become an actor. You feel me? If you're thinking like that, how you gonna be? You know, I'm not thinking on the regular scope. So it's just, you know, I'm not surprised that a lot of people don't understand some of the decisions I make. But I think more people do than people don't. You know, I think sometimes they like want to illustrate it the other way, but I think more people actually understand me. If you understand yourself, then you understand what I'm doing, because I ain't doing nothing but being real.
Right. You know? No, I think so, and I think we appreciate that. I think it shows through. I think it takes some of that stigma of Hollywood off, or people. Somebody, I think, just hearing you talk and hearing your perspective and saying, "Oh well, if he can make it, maybe I can make it." Because I thought maybe I had to move without integrity.
Nah, hell no. Look, if anybody ever tell you to do something you don't want to do, you got. That's what I'm saying. You gotta make that known before you get into it. What am I not gonna do? Make that your standard. You know what I'm saying? And don't let nobody cross that motherfucker, or else you're gonna feel like you sold your soul. And it's the same thing in any job. You trying to get to the top. If you sleep with the boss so you can get to the top, you feel me? If that's what you feel you gotta do, that's what you felt you gotta do. But if you got a certain level of respect for yourself and you ain't gonna do that, then you gotta stand on that. Because it's always a way to get it without compromising yourself. And I believe, too, it's a way to get it without compromising other people. You don't got to be no fucked up person to make it in this business. You could be honest as hell. You know what I'm saying? You got to be. I mean, I feel like I got to be, because I can't be walking around lying to motherfuckers and keep, you know, it's too much to keep up. So at some point I said, what I'm going to say is, fuck it. I'm just going to be me, you know, and like take it or leave it. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not stupid necessarily, like, you know, but, you know, there's a strategic way to move with everything, but it's important that you stay true to yourself. The reason I'm a good actor is because I'm a real motherfucker. You know what I mean? So it's like the two things go hand in hand, you know.
Right. Amazing.
So yeah, I don't think Hollywood is as fake as people sometimes think it is. It just depends on who you talking to in Hollywood, because some people work in Hollywood, some people become Hollywood, and that's the difference.
Yeah, that's real. I appreciate that. Let's say that they want to know, will we ever see you in a movie with themes like this? You know, or you know, what are the revolution and the things that you kind of present to us in your music and do it so well visually, right? Especially with this video, it's so cinematic. Yeah. Will we ever see you in a movie or a film or a TV project that holds these type of themes?
Yeah, I'm working on different creating content. I'm working on a movie, actually writing it. I'm working with Alex, like he was the writer for Birdman. I don't know if you watched Birdman.
Birdman, the movie, yeah.
Yeah, he's one of the writers. Like actually, he wrote all of the dialogues. I'm a fan and also a friend of Alejandro Iñárritu, who's a director, Mexican director, and we just met like 3 days ago, and I'm writing this movie about Puerto Rico. It's kind of like 1898, and it's based on a real guy that nobody knows in Puerto Rico, but it's an amazing character, and it's kind of like I don't know, the Django meets 12 Years of Slave. Like it's a mix, and it's like a Western, Caribbean Western. So it's pretty intense because it's very crazy what happened during that time when the U.S. came to Puerto Rico to colonize Puerto Rico. So it's around that time period. So I'm writing a movie, and it's very fucking difficult, bro. Like it's like I write a lot of lyrics, like, you know, the songs that I write, like they are like 8 minutes long. You know, the one that I dropped out 2 weeks ago that I put out, it was 8 minutes long, and I like to write. So I don't make albums, like short albums, like they're like also long, like more than an hour. I can make 13 songs, but they are more than an hour. But making a movie, man, it's like making 500 albums, at least for me. Like it takes time. Like I wrote like, how do you call it? The first idea, I forgot the term. I wrote like 100 pages of treatment. And imagine like a treatment should be like, I don't know, 13 pages maybe. Like I wrote like 100 pages, and then I started to write the script. Like I never wrote a script before. I directed my videos, but so I got the help with the Alex too, and other two guys from Spain, and we're creating this whole movie. So I'm very into that. I'm not gonna act because I respect acting a lot, and I think that maybe I suck. Maybe if I practice, but I don't practice. I really like to be behind the cameras, man. You know, like I really like the creative aspect of telling a story, and I edit myself, my shit. Like I really enjoy that part, and to make music for that. So that's what I'm working on right now, you know.
Well, we look forward to the completion and the release of that. I'd like to thank both of y'all tonight for joining me, and you know, I'd like to take the chat. I think there were a lot of things we could have talked about. I think both of y'all live very interesting lives and probably have stories for days. But the fact that we've had this conversation where we're really talking about us as a people and not us as celebrities, or not about our fame or what we've acquired, but how we could better ourselves and better our community and the people around us. I'm very inspired by tonight and conversations like these, and I hope we can have more of them. So, Residente, Lakeith, thank you for joining me here on Amazon Music, Twitch, you know, to have this. I think it's very rare, conversations like these going on in the media space, in the music space, in the Hollywood space, and we need to have more of these. So thank you for providing that for us.
Thank you. No, thank you for the space, and thank you for your time, both of you, you know, and And I am telling you, if you need a rapper in Spanish, just let me know. I got it. Also, I'm going to tell Thomas that you're looking for him. So
yeah, thank you so much for inviting me. It's been a pleasure. And yeah, let's do more of this. We have a great moderator here, and I love the conversation. And, you know, love to everyone, and more love. And I'm going to check in on that offer.
yeah, man.
All right. I love to y'all in the chat. Thank you for everybody for tuning in. Have a great night.